Thank you for joining us today. My name is Claudette Esterine-Campbell, and I am the president of the Daughters of Sheba Foundation, chairperson and president of this foundation. We want to focus our attention on a woman of the Bible who is probably the most brilliant of them all. We do not know if the Queen of Sheba was beautiful or plain, but the record is she was a brain. It is to her brain that we pay attention, and the fact that she used it when women were not thought to even have one. As we celebrate Women's History Month here in Canada starting today, we here at the Daughters of Sheba Foundation will highlight queens, mothers, sisters, daughters, all women who have decided to use their gift of reason, thinking, and make a difference in theirs and others' lives. No other woman is so involved with the issues of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding as this queen. The only other woman in the Bible who is portrayed as having such an eager mind to learn would be Mary of Bethany, who sat at the feet of Jesus, soaking in wisdom even greater than of Solomon. The Queen of Sheba lived in the day of Jesus, you can count on it, she would have been there at his feet as well. Jesus said as much when he selected this queen as a powerful example of a wise light seeker. Jesus said to the Pharisees in Matthew 12:42, "The queen of the south will arise at the judgment with this generation and condemn it. For she came from the ends of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and behold, something greater than Solomon is here." End quote. When Jesus is that impressed with a woman, she deserves our careful attention, for such a life as hers has an impact on time and eternity. Let's look first at her position. She was a queen, and not one who is merely a figurehead, but one who was actually the ruler of a people. In this sense, a queen is simply a female king, and history has been full of women who have had the gifts to rule nations with wisdom and power. The Queen of Sheba is one of the most honored women of the Bible, for nothing negative is revealed about her. You will find no basis in the Bible for denying women the right to occupy any place of leadership they are capable of handling. We have heard the debate as to whether or not a woman should be president, say, of the United States. The record of the Bible and history would be on the side of electing a woman if, in God's providence, a uniquely qualified woman should seek the position. Israel was ruled by Deborah very well in ancient times and by Golda Meir in modern times. Many Christian nations have had superb female rulers who have demonstrated that women can be superior in the wielding of great power. From the lowliest to the loftiest, there is no station in life that is not sometimes held by a woman. This is a fact recognized by men even in ancient times. The International Bible Encyclopedia states, in almost all respects, women appeared to have been considered the equal of men and to have discharged of the same civil, religious, and even military functions. End quote. Some feel it is possible that the Queen of Sheba was motivated by this issue of equality to go and see Solomon for herself. She was a very wise and wealthy monarch herself, and she wondered if any king could be superior to her. Solomon greatly impressed with her, for he gave her a truly royal tour of his kingdom, and he shared with her all of his wisdom. There is not a hint of a prejudice bone in Solomon, as if he was in any way offended by a female ruler. She was graciously accepted and hosted on a level of equality. A woman in a powerful position can be a blessing to all. There are many such records of history where gifted women have done everything that gifted men have done. The lesson of the Bible and history is clear. When God endows a woman with gifts, she should be free to use those gifts for the benefit of everyone. Next, let's consider her persistence. Jesus said that she came from the ends of the earth to hear Solomon. Scholars tell us that Sheba was about the size of Texas in far-off Arabia, which at the time may have also included part of Ethiopia. The journey was between 1,000 and 1,500 miles. That may not sound like much to us, but try it on a camel sometime, and you will know why this woman should be known for or as the Queen of Persistence. It was a daily grind for about 2 months. The legend is that she tested Solomon before she made the trip to see him. She sent him a diamond with a crooked hole through it, asking him to thread it. No needle could penetrate it, but Solomon put a small worm in one end and let the worm crawl through the hole, pulling the thread. She also sent a goblet that she desired him to fill with water taken from neither the earth or the sky. Solomon was up to the challenge, and he had a horse gallop around until it was exhausted and perspiring, and from this dripping horse he filled the cup. When the queen heard of how he met her challenge, she just had to see the man for herself. It was an enormous undertaking to prepare the large caravan, and no one can know the obstacles she had to overcome to reach her goal. But she did it. She never turned back, even though she had everything life could offer. She had the wealth, power, prestige, and position, yet she pressed on, for the truly wise are those who know there is always more. Queen of Sheba was a genuine optimist. An optimist is one who says, I must press on, for the best is always yet to be. The optimist is always persistent because they know there and you should find it, confirming the wisdom of those who are persistent. The queen could have sat in her kingdom and waited for the truth to come to her, but she was too wise and too hungry for the truth to not be a seeker. She was rich beyond the imagination of most people in history, yet she knew that life did not consist in the abundance of her possession. She never stopped her search when she found gold, but she persisted until she found God. Next, look at her persuasion. She even found more than what she was seeking. She came asking questions about God, and the Bible tells us Solomon answered all her questions. We can only conclude that she responded to this light with faith, or otherwise Jesus would not have used her as an example. What good is seeking if one does not accept what is found? Let's look at her possessions. That she was wealthy, there is no doubt. Many picture her caravan winding its way across the Arabian desert as possibly the most spectacular in history. Bible scholars estimate the value of her gifts to Solomon to be nearly $4 million. The wealth of this queen and that of Solomon were so great that their exchange of gifts opened up a new world of commerce, and the century following their visit was one of commercial expansion. This was no mere social call and a friendly gift exchange. It was a meeting of two world powers that can change the course of history, and it did. And one of these powers is a woman. She was a master of diplomacy and one of the most successful in the history of international relations. Jesus could not help but admire her, and same goes for people watchers. Artists depict her as an elegant, dignified woman. She possessed a marvelous mind of her own. She had to be very intelligent, for she came loaded with questions, which indicates she was a student of life and a philosopher. She also had to have considerable wisdom to be able to evaluate the answers she received. Show me a man with more degrees than a thermometer, and I can show you a woman with the same list. Show me a man who can speak many languages, and I can show you a woman who can do the same. We've only scratched the surface in the reading the biographies of women of history, but I know enough to say with confidence that the female mind is equal to that of the male. Jesus says the mind of this Queen Sheba will set a standard for the final judgment of mankind. Jesus picked out this woman and holds her up as an example of one who responded in faith to the light that God gave her. No wonder the Pharisees wanted to kill him, because these men thank God every day that they were not Gentiles or women. But Jesus held up a Gentile woman as their judge and says, she is superior to all of you. You can count on it that all sexual and racial prejudices were powerful causes of the cross. Jesus knew that what he was doing, but he did it, making it clear beyond a shadow of a doubt that he was one of the first liberators of women. Jesus says that a woman will be an example by which men will be judged. Her example is exalted to the highest level, and so he put a woman's life and faith on the level of equality with the greatest of men. Jesus is saying that the lives of worthy people and their responses to God's light become a part of the standard by which the world would be judged. This queen persistent search for truth will put to shame those who have the truth at their fingertips, but will not lift a finger to grasp it. Queen Sheba and women like yourself wanted life's best, and she never, and you should never cease to search for it until you find it. Those who are truly wise will follow Queen of Sheba until you and I come to know and grasp the truth of life. Thank you for watching. Have a blessed rest of your Sunday. Namaste.